Welcome to Shot to the Series. Good luck and beware the Emperor's magic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 12 of Shot to the Series, and at the eye of this one, we are taking a look at the Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse. This was the first game of this series. The sequel was released on Super Nintendo, then both those games were re-released on Game Boy eventually, and followed by a third game, and that is where the series stopped. I started playing this game when I was young. It was a Disney game. It was on the SNES. And it was just one of those things where we were, really into Disney at that time, and it looked pretty interesting, and it really was. I don't remember playing the second one as much as the first one. I feel like we definitely played the first one more, and I've actually never played the third one. I think by the time it had come out, I wasn't doing as much on the Game Boy, and I was a bit older. So it kind of ended up falling to the wayside. But these were really interesting games. It was a platform action-adventure-y sort of game where you would play as Mickey or Donald or Goofy, I believe, were also characters you could use because you could play with other people. You could do like a co-op thing. But basically the premise, at least of the first game, was that you had to rescue Pluto from Emperor Pete. And Pete is one of my favorite bad guys, period. It doesn't matter the role he's in. It doesn't matter, what's going on with him. I love Pete. And, Mickey, I've got your dog. He's helping Maleficent in Kingdom Hearts. I love him there. And they've tried to make him less of a villain character and more like, I'm glad he's popular enough where they're doing this. Like, they've tried to make him less of a villain in some cartoons and more of just a kind of problem-causing doof. It's that, I broke this thing that I didn't mean to. Well, you shouldn't have been playing with in the first place, stuff like that. But absolutely love Pete, and this was kind of one of the first encounters I had with him, and it's not something we really see much of him in afterwards, but he's Emperor Pete. He's got his magics, and he kidnaps Pluto for these experiments. So you have to travel from your little safe haven all the way to Pete's castle through 6 worlds, the 6th world being Pete's castle. And along the way, you get new abilities, as you do in these games. So World 1, pretty much all you can do is jump on things in Mario fashion. And I'm going to talk about another game in January where this kind of mechanic sort of comes back in a way. But the other thing you can do is grab these blocks or grab anything pretty much in the environment and spin it and let it loose. And the blocks or the bad guys or whatever you pick up that isn't like a treasure chest, because there's like chests around and they have little rings, and you grab the ring and you just pull it until the chest pops. But anything you can grab and spin, you can use to attack enemies. So, and then some of the bosses are of course unique in that regard. They'll, you can try to jump, like one of the first big bosses is this big snake, and you can try to jump on him, or you can grab his, or you can jump on him, and when that happens, one of his segments pops off, and you grab the segment and you spin it back at him, because at the same time you're trying to dodge him, of course. And there's also blocks set up, and these blocks reappear in some cases they don't, and there's secrets to discover and all sorts of stuff. But the really cool thing was in World 2, you got your first taste of a costume. And these costumes came with all kinds of powers, and these were littered. And all the games had these. I know 3 did, even though I didn't play it because I looked. And you had a lot of different variations. I know 2 had a cowboy costume. You had a little cork pop gun, and in 1 you had a genie costume first of all, which was all about magic, and you had a magic meter in sort of the vein of like Legend of Zelda eventually would have. And you would charge up magic on your finger and zap things. And certain enemies can only be affected by magic. The magic also let you breathe underwater for longer. So that level had a lot of water-based things, because you could swim and breathe okay, but with the genie helmet you could last a lot longer. And that was literally the point. You couldn't do part of it without the genie helmet. So And it was good because it finally gave you something long distance, which was also something you didn't have. I mean, the spin works, but the spin's a lot harder to aim because it does get affected by gravity. The magic does not. So a nice straight magic shot was always good. Then you had the firefighter costume that you would get in World 3 because World 3 was a volcano world. So fire everywhere. And so you get a firefighter costume and you've got a powerful hose. What's it attached to? Not a darn thing. But, magic. You can squirt water out of the hose and it worked like real water. It put out the fires, no problem. And the boss there was really cool because the boss that I remember, at least for the genie costume level World 2, was I believe just a giant spider. And you could hit him with the magic, but it was honestly usually better to jump on him. In the case of World 3, the big boss is this face that spits out fire. And so obviously you want to use the fireman's costume. And again, it's another case of a distance attack. And the water puts out fire, and also, skipping ahead, it creates icicles in the ice level, which is World 5. And World 5 is kind of your big test before Emperor Pete's castle. But in between those is World 4, and it's a mountain. You got to climb a mountain. It's really weird. You go, World 1 is just kind of the base intro levels, getting you used to everything. You go to World 2, which is the forest. Go down here to World 3, which is kind of the volcano-y, cavey, fire level. You go up a mountain and down a mountain, and you come up ice, and then you get Pete's castle. So it's kind of weird. But in the mountain level, you get a mountain climber's costume, essentially. You kind of look a little like Robin Hood, I think, but you have a grappling hook. And this is a hard level. There's little gray circles with Mickey's face inscribed on them. And you have to throw the grapple hook. And the grapple hook only goes so far. I mean, it does not have a lot of distance. And once you hook the circle, once you hook the mark, you swing. And the idea is to get across the level. And occasionally there's like tornadoes and things trying to attack you and knock you off these things. And so that's what made it hard and the controls weren't great in this aspect. That's about the only aspect where things got a little wonky, was trying to get the grappling hook to get on the thing and then to swing across and make it all good. And at the top of it, you had to fight this giant eagle monster who was trying to drop eggs on you, and you've got to hook the eggs and spin them back, and you've got to get on a hook at one point because she tries to use a strong wind to blow you away, and if you're not hooked on to something, you are going to fly off and lose your life. Of course, like I said, 5 was the ice level, and this kind of really tested everything you had before going into Pete. And Pete's every level had 4 stages, so you had 1, 2, and 2, I believe, usually ended in a mini boss fight. 3 and then 4 with the big, which was just the boss fight, and more or less in most cases. You would like in World 2, you had to spring up trampoline leave, so you could die if you missed a jump, but it was just a platforming challenge to get to the boss. World 6, that doesn't happen. You just straight up face Emperor Pete, and this is as arena-y as it gets, but it's unfortunately very easy in that regard because Pete's here, just kind of slowly stomping toward you. You're here. There's 2 walls between you, and basically you just have to keep shooting Pete while dodging his attacks, and it's not hard. Some of the other battles are a lot harder, but I still really like it. And I didn't play the second one as much, and I never played the third one, but I think it was still a really good game, and especially, again, coming back today, kids need more influences like Mickey Mouse than influences like things like Call of Duty. It's everyone's playing Fortnite and everyone's doing this. Get them off of that. Why? Why is this 8 to 10-year-old kid, first of all, why do they even have a cell phone? And why do they have Fortnite? I mean, I don't see the appeal. To those of you who do, great, but I don't see the appeal. But that all being said, that's another topic that I'll go into later. But I think Mickey Mouse, the Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, was a good trilogy of games. I think they should make more. I think and even if you keep them simple, they can be eShop games easy. Good, solid eShop games, $10 to $20. I think they do really well. But let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see Mickey Mouse star in another Magical Quest? Or should we just stop making Mickey Mouse games at this point? I know I've already done Epic Mickey. Don't know if there's anything else I could really touch on besides Kingdom Hearts. And Kingdom Hearts has a third game coming, so there's really not much point. I could cover Kingdom Hearts before January 29th, but I'm not going to. So just being honest. But post your opinion in the top right, as per usual. And on the next episode of Shock to the Series, episode 13, this is supposed to be released on Christmas. I'm trying to catch up, but we are going to be talking about a very colorful series, a series that was just re-released on PlayStation 4. And I'm hoping that is going to lead to a third game. I'm really, really hoping for it. Is going to be the best adventure to end the year. That's it for this one, guys. As lights out on the Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse. Shock to the Series.